We know that Mauritius has positioned itself as the gateway to Africa for Asian companies wanting to do business on the mainland African continent. Has Mauritius played this role well, by your opinion?
Good morning. Yes, I think Mauritius has played that role very well. The leadership is committed to that, and business leaders like myself are constantly traveling to India, Singapore, Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur to do that. A lot of projects have been announced recently as well. There's a big business park being developed by the Chinese here. There's another big new town development being developed by Indian investors. There's food security projects, for example, by Singaporean investors. There's a new stock exchange and commodities exchange being developed. And South Africans are also participating in a lot of shopping malls and infrastructure. So yes, I'd say both the government and the business sector have done a pretty good job of attracting that kind of investment to make us a gateway into Africa.
All right. Now, experts have been loath to predict the outcome of the election, but there is a sense that it could go anywhere and we could see a change in government. We already know that the finance minister has been removed from the ruling party's candidature list, so there might be a new person to lead the fiscus. Has that concerned investors in Mauritius?
I would say, there's always an election, it always has uncertainty. Personally, in my view, I think we'll see the continuation of the policies no matter who is in power, because I think the momentum of the growth that those policies have established is desired by everybody. I think what we're more concerned about is that global regulations put undue pressure on emerging market regulators to do things which maybe are rash or not necessarily what we need in our local economies. We have to remember that the global financial crisis didn't start in offshore centers or in Asia, and I think some of the policy framework coming out is what I'd worry about at a global level and how that gets pressured into local politics. But I don't expect the local regulators to do anything adverse, no matter what the outcome of the election.
Obviously, you're quite prominent within the financial services space, and we know that Mauritius as an economy is renowned for its offshore banking industry and the various tax incentives that are provided for investors moving into equities and the like. With this growing trend to manage and oversee and even ban in some instances proprietary banking and hedge funds and the like, how has Mauritius been affected, and what would you like to see your new government doing by way of just preserving the integrity of the banking system in your country?
Yeah, the banking system has weathered this crisis very, very well because we don't have the same kind of leverage and we don't do the same kind of, more extreme types of investment banking we've seen elsewhere. So, for us, it's been more of a good old-fashioned recession, and that's put some pressure on earnings, but not on the systemic quality of banking. Mauritius remains a great place to live and do business, so it's more of a marketing story that has to be told to the outside world rather than change a lot of things internally. Right. The infrastructure is great, and so I think the effect for us it's more unintended consequences of global regulations, but I think on a domestic scene, the banking sector is very healthy.
Okay, the global crisis withstanding, we do know that the reforms introduced in the last 5 years have led to the CEMDEX index doubling, and it's also led to FDI growing 9 times in Mauritius. With the economy set to grow this year, what is your outlook for the economy, particularly for financial services, because a lot of investors tend to move their money into tourism stocks or into the tourism sector?
I think, and from my perspective, Mauritius is becoming a regional financial services center, and certainly banks like AfrAsia and others are focusing on that. So economic growth will be okay this year, but I think, again, as India, Africa, Southeast Asia flows continue to come through this region, I actually think it's going to be very explosive growth in the finance industry in the next 18 months. All I can say is banks like mine and AfrAsia, we're having record month after record month for the last 6 months, and I see other banking groups are doing well as well, and our biggest banks are also on the march to expand regionally. So I'm personally very, very optimistic about Mauritius as a financial services jurisdiction and what we're able to leverage on regional growth.